Happy Thursday. Hopefully, everyone's having an awesome day. Unfortunately, I am not reporting on awesome news. I don't know if you are aware of this, but Cayler Ellingson was ran down by a Democrat. I don't know if you want to call him a Democrat. I don't know what you want to call him, other than he is a monster who ran him down. But I'll get more into that. And something really needs to change. And I'm just going to play something from Libs of TikTok. A TikToker calls a ban Republicans from all establishments. I don't really believe in going after voters. I don't think that's the correct course to take because you're going to get tragic things. This needs to be called out at every level, from YouTubers, from people on Twitter, to local politicians, local news, to federal news, well, national news, and politicians from both sides of the aisle. But I'm not really seeing that. They say it, but they don't really say it.
When are we going to start banning MAGA Republicans from establishments? Like, if you're wearing the shirt and you're wearing the hat, don't come in my store. Don't come in my restaurant. Kick them out of the fucking bank. I don't care. They're repping it like a gang. And anywhere else, gang violence isn't tolerated. So why is it for them? They're just uneducated white people. Kick them out.
Actually, that's not true. There's a lot of people of different skin tones that rep the MAGA. Because who doesn't want to make America great again? It's this type of hatred that we're seeing. It's this type of hatred to other them, Americans that want to see America great, wants to see America even better, to keep America better, and to really make sure there's a future for Americans. And you got people like her. She's unapologetic. She's just calling a group of people a gang because I don't know why. I mean, just those are questions for her to ask. But that's not why you clicked on this video. I'm just highlighting the rhetoric coming from a certain group. And it's usually Democrats, or it's usually the white liberal female. But this right here, I know this is just bond set for man accused in McHenry vehicle homicide case. I would say it's a political crime, hate crime. We got to send a message that this is not okay. A driver charged with fatally striking a teenager in North Dakota allegedly told investigator he purposely hit the teen with his SUV after they had a political argument, according to court documents. So why is he out on bond? Cayler Ellingson, who was 18, barely getting on with his life. He was barely an adult and was snuffed out by this piece of shit right here because he was immature, drunk, and didn't like the politics of this person. Was struck and killed following a street dance in McHenry early Sunday. The driver accused of striking Ellison in an alley, piece of shit, 41, is charged in Foster County with vehicular homicide and leaving the scene of an accident that resulted in a death. Jail records from Strutsman's County, where the piece of shit was being held, showed he posted $50,000 bond on Tuesday, which I think is 10%, which is $5,000. Release. His attorney did not immediately return calls for comment. Brant told investigators that he left the scene after striking. Ellingson, returning briefly, called 911 and then left again, according to a probable cause affidavit. The court document said Bryant told investigators that he's been drinking alcohol. Oh, yeah. The piece of shit told investigators he was drinking alcohol before striking innocent Ellison and thought the teen was calling people to do him harm. And they argued and that he felt threatened. Sorry, you don't get to feel threatened. Ellison was rushed to the hospital in Carrington where he was pronounced dead. Investigators arrest Bryant, a piece of shit, at his home, Glenville, later Sunday. Officials said he consented to a chemical breath test which showed his blood alcohol content was above the 0.08%, the legal limit to drive. Captain Brian Newin of North Dakota Highway Patrol, which helped investigate the death, and said that the political argument claimed by the piece of shit has not been substance because the investigation is still ongoing and more witnesses are needed to be interviewed. The specific details of the alleged argument were not released. Ellison parents later told the police that they knew the piece of shit but did not believe their son did. And the affidavit said that the Ellison mother described how she was on her way to pick up her son from McKinney when he called her about 2:40 a.m. and asked if he knew the piece of shit. Ellison called again short time later and that he and they were chasing him and she can no longer reach him after that, the document said. He's out on patrol, not on patrol, but out on bond. North Dakota, you're failing your people. That's right, you're failing the people. I mean, this is where I learned it was in Forum, North Dakota street dance. Let's see here, does this say anything different? Prosecutors alleged the moments before he killed the 18-year-old Cayler Ellingson called his mom to come rescue him because the 41 piece of shit was chasing him like a little schoolgirl. Actually, not even a schoolgirl, like a bully, because he couldn't get his way. Chasing him in the city of McHenry, where the street dance just wrapped up. By the time she could get there, her son was dead. The piece of shit is officially charged Monday with vehicular homicide, leaving the scene of a deadly accident. Hopefully he gets more charges. I mean, I do give him props. He did call 911 to report the crash. I mean, so there is a little bit of redemption, but not much. It just moves the needle a hair. Court papers show that the piece of shit called 911 around 2:30 a.m. Sunday and told 911 dispatcher that he just hit Ellingson, claiming that the teen was part of a Republican extremist group. A Republican extremist group. This is the same rhetoric Biden said in his dark, or whatever you want to call it, V from Vendetta speech. They're a MAGA Republican extremist group. And was calling people to come get the piece of shit after a political argument. Maybe because he just felt threatened by you and wanted someone to come pick him up. Ellison's mom told police that her son called just before the crash, asking if he knew. We already know this. We're still trying to determine what exactly transpired at the time of the crash and prior to that. Explains knew when the police said that the piece of shit was drunk and hit and killed Ellison with his SUV in an alleyway. If this was the... I hate to go this approach. I hate to do what ifs. I hate to do what abouts. If it was reversed, if this piece of shit was a Republican, a MAGA Republican, and Ellison was a Democrat, this would be plastered. This would be plastered. Well, here's one right here, but only because I searched for the dude. You go to top stories. You got Russian protests. You got top GOP rejects Trump's declassification comments. CNN says Iran president tried to make hijab a condition for whatever. Storming forming in the Caribbean. Hopefully that doesn't hurt anybody. Trump lashes out after the next witch hunt, a day after Zelensky's speech. And then, of course, we got the stuff that's curated for me. Hurricane. Nope, nope. I don't see it. I don't see it. Of course, this is Austin. Business is not going to be there. Technology is not going to be there. If the roles were reversed, and I hate to do whataboutism, because I don't think it's a solid argument or a solid thing, but we've already seen this. January 6th is still on everyone's mind for different reasons. But the fact that he's already out on bond, he should be denied bond. And here's the worst part about this. Here's the worst part about all of this. The judge ordered the piece of shit held on $50K, which he objected, saying that he was not a flight risk. I have a job, a life, a house, and things. I don't want to see you go by the wayside. What about this? What about this when you were hitting that 18-year-old? That guy had a life. That kid had his whole life in front of him, and you snuffed him like it was nothing. You snuffed him without a single thought because you thought he was a Republican extremist. Because you got people like her, you got people like Biden trying to the other side, using Republicans as a way out, saying they were Republicans so they deserve to die type mentality, which is not true. I don't care what the political party is. Yes, I have issues with the Democratic Party. I have issues with people who vote Democrat, but I don't other them. I don't belittle them. I don't dehumanize them. They're individuals. They have a reason why they vote Democrats. I may not think it's valid. I don't think it's in their best interest, but I don't blame them and call them Democratic extremists. I don't call them a threat to the United States or a threat to the Republic of the United States or a threat to our democracy. I don't do that. I like to debate their argument, their ideas, their actions, but I don't belittle them. I don't dehumanize them. Or at least I try not to. I mean, sometimes it's hard when you're talking about President Biden. If convicted on vehicular homicide charge, the piece of shit would face a minimum of 10 years in prison because of the DUI on his record. Not because he killed him, but because of the DUI. He killed him. He cold-blooded killed him. That should be 20 years as a minimum. Trooper says the investigation develops or could recommend more serious charges. The GoFundMe has been set up to help pay for Ellison's funeral's expenses. Is there any comments? No. I'm sorry. Where is he? You are a piece of shit and you deserve to rot in prison. You should get life, to be honest. Life with maybe a slight possibility of parole. Because you killed someone because of their political affiliation. You claim he was a Republican extremist, but yet you're the one that caused harm. You're the reason why a family has to bury their 18-year-old son. You're the reason why a mother and father has to bury their child. And he's out on $50K, which is probably $5,000 he had to set up. And you want to complain that you're not a flight risk? I have a job, a life, and a house and things I don't want to go see by the wayside. What about the kid? What about his life? His life meant nothing. I could go on ranting on this. I feel like I'm going in circles. But this has to stop. This type of rhetoric has to stop. It doesn't matter if she was talking about Democrats or libertarians. It just happens to be MAGA because that seems to be a good punching bag. I don't care. But it needs to stop, and it needs to stop yesterday. Stop going after voters. Talk smack, talk whatever you want about the politicians that are running or politicians that are elected. But don't go after the voters because you're going to see more of this. You're going to see more of people like him. I'm tired of it. It's frustrating. But yet, we're the extremists. We're the domestic terrorists because we don't want to vote Democrat. It's frustrating. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully, Cayler Ellingson gets the justice he desperately deserves. Hopefully, his family gets the justice they deserve. I hope they sue this family for everything that they have because this piece of shit robbed them for nothing, for over a political difference, over a political argument. Because a grown man couldn't, I don't know. I don't want to insult this piece of shit. I don't want to give this piece of shit any more of my time. So leave a comment down below what your thoughts are. Am I overreacting? Or I'm not acting enough? Leave a comment down below. Please smash the like and subscribe button on any of all platforms or just the platform you're currently watching. But most importantly, stop attacking voters for the votes that they cast. Sometimes there's a valid reason why we don't want to vote Democrats. And if it's people like him that run over 18-year-olds, that's the reason why I can't vote Democrat. Because they support violence. They support riots. They support hissy fits. They support the worst things that you can possibly think of. Well, maybe not the worst thing, but they support things that shouldn't be supported. They support death and chaos when it asserts their narrative of that. That's the reason why I cannot support the Democrats. So most importantly, hopefully we can move past to blaming voters, stop blaming voters, and actually go after politicians where the blame is. And hopefully we could come back and unite like we normally have. With that, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.